should you pull on this banner? So there's a couple of things before we get into a tier list and discussing who you should pull on this. One is, should you pull on this? Well, if you don't have Luna yet, you should not pull on this. You should get Luna. In fact, let's just get our tier list up here, right? Let me find it here. Okay. Cecilia bot, give us a tier list, right? Okay, we'll slide this right over here. There we go. Okay, so New Moon Luna. You cannot get her on the custom summon, and she will not be available. I don't think. I'm 99% sure she will not be available in the headhunt at the end of the year. And she is, and I'm saying this staring Blood Moon Haste right in the eyes, the most important unit in the game right now. You pick up this unit. You say, forget that custom summon, forget the fact that I'm missing this unit I love. You pick up Luna. She is just that good. So before we even get into should you summon on the custom summon, you gotta ask yourself, do I want to play in a world without New Moon Luna? Now, can you play Epic 7 competitively without New Moon Luna? Let me ask you this. Can you eat crap? No, I mean, really, can you? Can you actually eat crap? Yeah. You won't like it. It won't be fun. You're not going to enjoy it, but you could do it. So can you play competitive Epic 7 without Luna? Yeah, you can. You're not going to like it. You can do it, but it's not going to be fun. So, now that I've driven that point home, get New Moon Luna before you even think about the summons, or the Mystic Summon. I'm not encouraging you to go and swipe for her or anything like that, but if you're a spender, there are worse things to spend on. In fact, almost everything is a worse thing to spend on. But I'm not encouraging you to spend on this game if you don't want to spend on this game. But you definitely pick her up if you have the means. I highly recommend it. But next week, we've got the Ilanov imprints for ML Ilanov, and this brings us to the second thing you need to consider. What about ML Ilanov? What about Harsetti? They've been on kind of a roll of dropping broken ML5s in our lap, right? It's... And that's why we're going to break this list down into meta-defining units, solid pickups, and nah, fam, skip. Now I'm going to pick up some heat for this last category, right? This last category, people are going to say, oh, but I use that unit really, really good. She's the most important unit in clearing Abyss. You use this to farm Wyvern all the time. Every 15th game, I sometimes summon this unit, and, you know, maybe she doesn't get You know what? You do you, right? If there's a unit you love, if there's a unit you gotta have, if there's a unit who you have been dreaming about and you feel that your game is just not there without this unit, you do you, man. Pick up that unit. Don't let anybody or anybody's tier list or any streamer telling you're making a mistake. This is a game, and if you're not having fun, what are you doing? So if there's a unit you love, this is your shot to get it, you pick up that unit. But if you're looking to min-max your game, I really think you maybe don't waste your time with units that are in this tier when we're getting things like Yufine, like Senya, like Luna, just coming down the pipe over and over and over again, right? So, yeah. I'm not going to bother breaking these out into, oh, this one's niche and this one's kind of good here. Nah. You don't pick up a niche unit that's kind of good with all these monsters that are being dropped in our laps, right? You only go for the gold. So let's go ahead and get started. Abyssal Yufine was once in the meta-defining tier. She's now really, really good, and I think she is a solid pickup, right? She is still fantastic on arena defense. She is usable on arena offenses, especially with teams that are used with the quick battling method. She is literally part of the I wanna be legend meme, right? I don't think she is meta defining anymore, especially in a world where Luna is out there. Luna shifted a whole bunch of units up here down a tier and made them important but less important. Ainz, we have to make a new tier for Ainz, right? Ainz is the not. Yo, Solidus, my man, thank you for the sub, bud. I appreciate you. Hell yeah. Not available. Sucks to suck. So yeah, you are not allowed to pull Ainz because he's a collab unit. Duh. It's not during a collab. There are kind of rules against profiting from other people's IPs without a written agreement to allow you to do so. It's why I can't play really fun music on my channel while I'm doing these lists. Who we have? Yes, Ambitious Tywin. Ambitious Tywin. I think actively staring Senya in the eyes, he's the best knight in the game. This guy, he's all over arena defense. He is solid usage. We're in a world of debuffs right now. A debuff heavy meta. I don't know, man. Senya's pretty amazing, right? Don't get me wrong. Very, very different, but Tywin causes problems for people. Apocalypse Ravi. Remember when I said I was going to get some hate for some of these takes? Apoc Ravi is a solid anchor unit, and she always pops up at the end of the season. She is never bad. She's just not game-changing. So I think you skip this unit. I'm not saying she's bad by any stretch. A lot of people will defend her left and right, but look how often you see her drafted. Look how usable she is. Look how much she survives those drafts she is picked into. She hasn't been the same since the Crimson nerf. Yep. Okay, Arbiter Vildred. We'll come back to Arby. Okay, for real. I had dropped Arby down here initially, but his EE has really changed his usage. So I'm going to slide him up here because he is fantastic counter cleave, and his damage is kind of surprising. His EE really, I agree, Spatial. His EE has really brought some extra power to it, and I think he's going to be sliding more and more into usability as people get that EE and start to realize how good it is. Archdemon Shadow. Now, Red and a few others are going to get mad at me about this, but I've really thought about it, and although she is a powerhouse unit, and she can be used effectively, I just don't think, when I look at what ML5s are like in 2024, and we're staring down the barrel of a floor boss ML5. We're staring down the barrel of Harsetti. And let's talk about the floor boss ML5s, right? She's one of them. She's one of them, and she dominated the meta for a while there. It was very different. And then Strays came out. Look how good Strays was. Look how important Strays was, both for PvE and PvP.
I smell living creatures.
Yeah, I sniff a living creatures. And then we got Belian, holy crap, and Zeo, holy crap. They have been game-changing busted kits. And I can't in good conscience recommend a 2020 unit rolling into 2025. Not with Haste coming, so I'm going to tell you guys just to skip her. Now, if you see some people doing amazing stuff with Archdemon and you want to be a part of that, go for it. Architect Laika. Architect Laika was fantastic in a world where you could just nuke things with her S2, S3. She was kind of a similar, if not better version in some situations of Strays, but Yeah, sorry guys. I can't compare to what's currently out there. Astromancer Elena. Elena does something no other unit in the game does. She turns off that annoying RNG that makes us miserable, right? Yeah, I'm gonna stick her in a solid pickup because between Guild Wars and the occasional use in RTA and Arena, I think she is a solid one to have, right? Now, Belian. Belian's a tricky one, right? Belian's one of those where she turns off souls. She shuts down Tag's book, and Tag's book is one of the things that everybody complains about. Now, that alone makes her meta-defining, not to mention the variety of builds you can have on her. I've got 3 Belians built because of the variety of builds you can have, and I want a 4th one so I can do all 4 builds. That's how crazy her builds are. Her usability is. The one thing that is a problem is you're not going to be allowed to play her. Now, I mean, you want to put her on arena defense, she is practically required for arena defense. So I'm putting Belian in the meta defining, but with a caveat saying, be careful, if you pick this unit, you might not be able to use her competitively. She is, the majority of the time, she's pre-banned, and the times where she's not pre-banned, if you draft her, she's probably post-banned. Unless you somehow manage to slip her into that 3rd pick slot. It's too strong of an aspect. So, just because she's here, really think about, am I ever going to be allowed to play this unit? Alright? Blood Moon Haste is the best unit in the game that's not named Luna. That's just all there is to it, guys. He is giga busted, and if you don't have him, you are probably upset that you don't have him. Yeah, he went from rags to riches over freaking night with his buff. Briar Witch Iseria. I haven't gotten to play with her since I got her EE. She's always been a solid pickup. I'm not entirely sure if she's meta defining right now. I think there's just enough things that counter her. I'm going to put her back up here close to the top of the solid pickups, right? With her EE, she became an opener. That 10 extra speed does make her a potential opener. And she is really good. She's a natural counter to Blood Moon Haste, right? Closer Charles, skip. Commander Pavel, I think, is one of the more important cleave units. What do you think, chat? If you cleave, he could be here. If you don't cleave, I say skip. You know, I'm gonna tell you to skip. I'm gonna tell you to skip Cavill, but with the encouragement that if you are a cleaver and you just like to cleave, go for it. But Cavill style cleaves are harder and harder. Yeah, now we're just gonna skip Cavill, okay? Conqueror Lilias used to be here, used to be freaking here, right? But Sea Phantom Politis has knocked her down a little bit, but check her win rates. In a world where you're not allowed to have Sea Phantom, I think the only reason she is not running the meta right now is the majority of the people took their gear off of her and put it onto Sea Phantom Politis. But, yeah, Spacial said it true. Never underestimate Conqueror Lilias. And she also has fantastic usability in a lot of PvE, although most of that was centered around Holotrials, and who knows what the hell Smogate is doing Holotrials right now. I'm just going to slide her down to the top of solid pickups for now. I might move her up later. We'll see how it goes, but I am... Oh, God, I don't know, man. I don't know. Nah, I'm leaving her meta defining, guys. She is still a monster unit. If you have, I guess my caveat's gonna be, if you have Sea Phantom Poly, probably don't bother unless you're just rolling in speed gear. You probably can't build both of them quite the way you want to build them. But if you don't have Sea Phantom Poly and you can't get her, let's go ahead and just get that out of the way, right? Briar Dragon Senya, can't get it from this list, and Sea Phantom Poly, can't get them from this summon. So let's just get those out of the way right out of the gate. Assuming you already have her, assuming you already have her, this moves down. Assuming you don't have her, this moves up. Because they fill a similar niche and they need similar gear. So I'm gonna leave her right where she's at. Dark Corvus. If you're not in a Guild War guild, you don't bother with Dark Corvus. He used to have a lot of uses on RTA. He is still a nice 5th pick when your enemy drafts like an idiot, but I don't think I've whipped him out except in Guild Wars in months. He's just fallen off a bit. Death Dealer Ray. I mean, are we kidding? Death Dealer Ray is probably the best ML5 unit in the game that's not named Landy, Haste, or Luna. Now, something you want to consider is if you haven't gotten to your Moonlight Blessing yet, Joke pointed it out, if you haven't gotten to your Moonlight Blessing pick yet, I think you get Death Dealer Ray of all the choices you have, right? You can get Death Dealer Ray, you can pick up Conqueror Lilias, or you can pick up Mediator Kawerik. I think I would get Death Dealer Ray out of those choices. But this is assuming you've already moved past that. Okay, Desert Jewel Basar. Surprisingly pickable. More so than people think. Where'd my music go? But I just can't recommend him for his basic arena niche and occasional counter. Yeah, Spacial said, DJB, ironically playable. Playable isn't what you spend mystics on in this world of monsters, right? You don't want something that's playable, you want something that dominates, and he just doesn't. He is very usable, but there are alternatives to him that work just as well. Designer Lilibet used to be one of the best anti-cleave units, used to be really, really good for dealing with cleave. I still think she kind of is. I'm going to leave her near the bottom of solid pickups. But, yeah, Luna really harms Lilibet. I don't know, I'm tempted to throw her down here, but she's still so good in counter cleave. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, I don't think so. She was giga important last season and is just between Luna and yeah, just with Luna just stomped all over, I'm afraid. Moving on. Dragon King Sharun. God, is there it hurts, it hurts. She's good, guys. She's really, really good. I don't know if she's meta-defining, but she's really, really, really good. She's awful, horrible, bad, disgusting, but good. Ludwig is the easiest access to cleave for people that don't have great speed gear. If you've got Ludwig and an opener, or if you've got Ludwig and a and Zeo, you get to cleave. And if somebody picks this unit into you, you've got to figure out how to deal with all of that BS. I think he is meta-defining, even though it's for a specific style. I'm leaving him where he's at. He is hard to gear, but a lot of these units are very hard to gear. Speaking of very hard to gear, Faithless Lidica. This one's a unique one, right? If you have the insane gear to build her, she's up here, and if you don't, and I barely have the gear to build her, and she's not that good, and she's, you know, at the lowest end of that good. I think if you have the gear to build her, you're not looking at a tier list. You know what the F you want. So I'm going to recommend just skip her. Just skip her, because 99% of the people in this game can't build her the way she needs to be built for the Lidica special cleave. And those who can don't need a tier list to tell them to pick Lidica. Savvy? Fallen Cecilia. Fallen Cecilia, you totally skip. She is off the meta. There are several knights that just do it better. You only pick her if you are huffing the copium of surely she gets her buff. Surely this time around, they buff her and they give her the ML Haste treatment and she moves to the top. And you know what? If you pick her and that happens, come in here and tell me how wrong I was and how right you were. I'm happy to see it. But for right now, I'm not going off of theoretical what-ifs down the road. Right now, she ain't it. Judge Kise. Actually a solid usage unit. Takes really high-end gear, but is just hard to play properly. If you gear her right and you play her right, she can change the tune of teams and the pattern of fights. She's got no use outside of RTA, I think. Yeah, don't pick this unit. Last Rider Krau. There's never a world where LRK isn't good. There's a lot of AoE spamming going on, and he gives shields, he gives immunity, his damage ramps up. He's one of the few mitigation knights that also does really good damage. I don't think there'll ever be a world where LRK is just not a solid pickup. He's not the meta definer he was a couple seasons ago, but he is solid. God damn it. Smilegate, why are you doing this to me? Look, she just isn't good anymore. Smilegate will fix her. Redheads never stay bad for wrong. I'm just going to leave her there. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Moving on, Little Queen Charlotte. Hey, Shuma, thanks for the sub, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for support. Little Queen Charlotte. I will see your Little Queen Charlotte and raise you Auden. Moving on, Lone Crescent Bellona. Always crits. In a world of anti-crit, always crits. Solid pickup, very usable, great in some labyrinth fights, great in some abyss floors, powerhouse in Guild War fights, and still very usable in RTA. I think she stays in the solid pick range, not meta-defining anymore, but still very usable. Maid Chloe in the shitter. Martial Artist Ken in the shitter. People are going to say, oh, but it's Martial Artist Ken, he wins me fights. Yes, he can. He can. If your opponent drafts himself into a corner, you can drop ML Ken, force ban it, or just run him over. In lower arena levels, like Challenger and below arena levels, you can solo with him. He is a great unit, but he is not Luna. He is not Landy. He is not Yufine. He's not Shu. He's not Senya. He's not these monsters they've been rolling out with, and I can't in good conscience say, spend your mystics on this and forget Ilanov, forget Harsetti. They surely won't be as broken as every other unit in the past 8 months has been broken. So, moving on. Mediator Kawerik in the shitter, guys. Okay, he does everything. He does everything, right? He cleanses debuffs and gives immunity and attack buff. He CR pushes on his S1. He as S3 strips and applies attack down. He literally does everything. He checks every box. He is not super meta right now, mostly because of this green vampire girl who doesn't drink blood and is a singer in the band but plays a guitar, who's somehow able to break a freaking bass guitar string with her pinky finger and then gets mad enough to throw it at your face. I'm not upset. Yeah, she's a little bit better, but Kawerik still does a little bit of everything. He is very, very good in a lot of PvE content. I'm leaving him in the solid pickups, guys. A kit this diverse, this clean, this usable is never a waste. I think he's worth picking up. Has anybody played Arena recently? If you say this girl doesn't belong in this top tier, you haven't played Arena recently. That's all I gotta say. Operator Sigret. Can anybody name me a unit, an ML 5-star unit, less usable than Operator Sigret right now? Anybody? No? No, I've used Ooal. I've used Ooal with success in Guild Wars. I got to rank 5 in normal arena using ML Kairon. These units are incredibly niche, but they have uses. The Sigret just doesn't work. She needs an entire kit revamp, I think, or for them to like double the damage, her damage output, and give her some survivability. Give her like built-in stealth or something. She needs something to bring her back, because right now she ain't it, guys. This one kind of hurts too. Hard unit to use, especially in a world of Laia. Pirate Captain Flan is just difficult unit to throw out there right now. I can't in good conscience recommend you pick her. And guys, I like this unit, right? I like this unit so much she's my desktop wallpaper. So yeah, when I tell you not to pick her, it's kind of painful to do that. Remnant Violet. There's always a place for God in your life. If you're struggling, if you don't know what to do, if your enemy has picked you into a corner and you feel lost and abandoned in this world, you reach for God. You prayed to Rylet. This is a faith-based unit. And if you have confidence, if you have faith, if you believe, he will lead you to the promised land. He will take you out of Challenger and into Champions. With Rylet, we are strong. With Rylet, we are saved. Praise be to Rylet. Also, you can't strip his dodge anymore, so that's kind of nice. He still gets crapped on heavily by, you know, Luna and Conqueror Lilias provoking him, but he is actually quite usable. He is surprisingly more usable now. There's actually value in Rylet. Requiem Rowana, damn near tempted to put her up here, but she's a niche in her usage. She is very, very good, and you can build her with effectiveness to reset people, or you can build her with attack to destroy people. I gotta tell you, I love my 6k attack, Requiem Rowana. It is lovely to watch the angry Vildred paces and the Meru shock faces pop up when I S3 with her, and they think it's just going to reset them, but instead it gives you the ultimate reset of killing them. You can't get more reset than being dead, right, guys? Rule of Light, we're just going to slide just to the left of Operator Sigret because she's got some slight usability. You know, actually, I think she's better than... you guys... can I put her, like, on top of each other? Won't let me put them on top of each other. Okay, anyway. Yeah, if her cooldowns weren't so long, she just needs a little bit of a tweaking to be usable, right? How is Yufine tier 3? Well, first tier is it's not on this summon, you just pick her up now. So she is in the second tier because she didn't change, she's not currently meta changing, but she's incredibly strong and powerful. In a world of Luna and what's her name? Elvira, or Elvira, as the kids say. Just a little harder to use, and I think she's lost a little bit of her edge. Ed Squared! Thanks for the sub, buddy.
How's it got Tristan and chat?
It's got good, my friend. It's got good. Remember, the focus on this list is who we should pick from the custom Mystic Summon. If you don't have these top units, you pick them. If you don't have these bottom units, you do some soul searching and you think, these are very good, strong, important units. Do I gamble on getting one of these staple units? Or do I hold off and save for ML Ilanov? Do I save for for Harsetti? Do I wait and see what monsters Epic 7 rolls out with? Because stage bosses have always broken the game. Zeo, Belian, Strays, Meru in her day. Every time they release a floor boss, it changes everything. I don't think Harsetti's going to be different, guys. I don't think they're going to drop a Operator Sigret quality ML5 for a floor boss, but we'll have to see. That's the decision you got to make. Am I okay with swiping? Am I sitting at pity and I think by the time these other monsters come out, I'll be back up again? You got to decide if you go to these. These down here are some really good units. There are very few ML5s, looking at you, Sigret, that just have no use in the game. Most of them are usable in their own niche, but Am I going to recommend you pick up one of those over what's potentially to come? Hell no. You got to really decide if you want to wind up swiping, if you want to stay competitive, because one of the things we've seen recently, and it's a big complaint, is that this has become a very haves and have-not kind of game when it comes to competitive nature. Arena, Hall of Trials, RTA, it's all come down to, do you have the things that everybody are using? Do you have the current major power toys? The diversity of being able to say, you know what, I don't have the new unit, but that's okay. It's become a real heckin' uphill battle for those people. So I can't in good conscience recommend you pick up mediocre to just okay. You know, this is your B, C, D, and E tier all rolled into one. Ain't nobody picking from that. You're picking from the S tier, and you're considering the A tier. And those are the only tiers we care about. Off my soapbox. More music. Sage Ball, one of the most important counter cleave units in the game, but we aren't playing counter cleave that much anymore. And with units out there like Senya and Luna, there's just ways to, and freaking, we'll get to her here in a minute, but Sylvian, he's just not as good as he used to be. So we'll throw him down here just to the left of Lionheart, because there's no way I'm putting Sage Ball ahead of Lionheart, right? Silverblade Aramentha, freakishly playable, and the people who know. She is really, really good, but not good enough to make this list, so we'll put her down here. Solitaria the Snow, evergreen unit. She shuts down, is it Focus or Fighting Spirit? She turns one of them off, right? And any unit that turns off an aspect of the game has playability. Focus. She's anti-focus. And like Belian, like any unit that turns off an aspect of the game is always a solid pickup, right? She may be down now, but she'll come back up. I'm leaving her where she's at. Specimen says, you know, everybody used to put this guy down here, but I think after World Cup, everybody agrees that Spez is making some comebacks. He's got the potential to run the show. He's we've seen him 1v3. Guy, he's just a good unit, right? He can destroy. He can one-shot anything. It is impossible to be tanky enough for him to not kill you, unless you've got some kind of a Gala Lilias passive, and he's only got one hit left, right? Stupid strong unit. Ooh. Okay, I promised I wouldn't do this, but I'm doing this. This should have been your Moonlight Blessing summon. Hands down. She has always been top tier for RTA, but there's so much AoE spam out there right now that she's lost a step, right? She's always value. If you didn't pick her up for Moonlight Blessing, if you grabbed Arby or you watched some crazy bad advice video and picked up one of the other units, now's the time to get her. So we're gonna put her up here, right? But for real, pick her up from this. For the love of God, get her from this. She is, because if you're at the point where Moonlight Blessing is ready for you, this is the unit you get. She is so important for Abyss. She is so important for Labyrinth. She is so important for clearing so much PvE and world content. Just get this unit. For RTA, for endgame stuff, her value is a little bit less, but I'm going to slide her up here just because she is a god of PvE, right? All right, Spirit Eye Celine. You know, surprisingly good on arena defense. Really fun to use on arena offense. Viable in a lot of guild wars. Incredibly difficult to pick in RTA. Kind of niche. As gorgeous as she is, as fun as she is to use, that's the only reason you pick her, is because she's pretty and fun. But she's not going to change your gameplay, right? Stick her right down in the middle somewhere. Oh, Strays. Strays is a tough call, guys. Where do we put Strays? Strays is probably the most important hunt one-shot unit in a world where we're looking at Rift. and you don't one-shot things. Because why are you doing hunts if Rift is out? He can be a really nice niche pick in RTA. Where did my music go? Nah, guys, nobody does hunts anymore. Nobody, if you can one-shot a hunt, you can farm Rift. And if you can farm Rift, you don't bother with hunts. Except for a couple specific resource farming niche needs. And his uses in RTA are niche. Sylvan Sage Vivian, you know, she was down here. But she has really kind of earned her stripes with her EE. I'm sorry, with her buff, not her EE, with her buff. She's remarkably hard to kill now. She can solo teams. She is a solid pickup. As time, I think, just like Arby, as time moves forward, people are going to find more and more uses, and you're going to see them drafted more and more often. Top model Lilica, if you have the high speed gear, she is a great secondary opener. I can't, guys. She's not a good pick. Excuse me. She's not a good pickup. She's a solid, good unit to use if you've got the gear for it. She can facilitate and move fights along, but she takes really, really high-end gear, and most people looking at a tier list aren't going to have that kind of gear. Shinigami says it best. Ask yourself if your name is BK Kenny. If the answer is no, then you don't use this unit. Sorry, Lilica lovers, and I'm one of them. When she came out, she was the most impactful meta-defining unit of her time, and she's been on a downward slide since then. She doesn't have the speed to go first, and when she does have the speed to go first, she doesn't have the damage to kill. And if you try to do both, she's a jack of all trades, master of none, unless you've got the super giga high-end gear. Nah, I'm sorry, guys. She ain't it. Twisted Idol on Kairon. You know, if all you care about is winning an arena, he goes here. If you don't care about arena, he goes here. What can I say? He's better than Operator Sigret because he does have a use. Better than people think kind of requires immortality or some external sustain, because having a skill that destroys people after like 4 or 5 turns isn't good when you die in 2. Yeah, Lizar, you take him, you take Christie, you take a really, really fast shooting star Acades, and then your frontline unit could be anything from Elvira to Senya, and you can basically climb all the way to rank 1 in arena, only occasionally skipping 1 or 2 teams, but he can kill almost anything. It's crazy. It's crazy how good that team is. Urban Shadow Shoe is just freaking fantastic in a world of HP scalers. Never discount an injury spammer, one that can do great injury, and we're starting to see like degenerate, awful people running her on effect resistance now. So, you know, multiple builds, you never know what's coming, and my daughter screams giant rat gun when she does her S3, and that makes me too happy to not put her in the solid pick unit. And the man of the hour, Zeo. Do you want to go first? Do you not have great speed gear, but you're tired of being outsped? Well, if I got a unit for you, Zeo is right beside Belian as a floor boss, being damn near unstoppably good. So I don't think there's any question that he changes the meta. So here's your list. Now, one more time, I'm going to give you the for real lowdown on this. If you do not have Luna, you have got, by the time this video is up, less than 24 hours. Go sell plasma. Go steal your credit card out of your parents' wallet. I'm just kidding on all of this, but for real, if you don't have Luna, you try to get Luna. Don't spend money you don't have. It's a freaking tap waifu boba. You don't spend money on this game that you don't have to spend. So, yeah. If you have the means, you pick her up. She is the best unit in the game. But guys, don't be stupid about money, okay? We talk about Epic 7 being a game of resource management, but you know it's a bigger game of resource management? Real freaking life. Manage your resources. Don't spend money you don't got. If you do not have one of these 8 units, you pick them up. I think these are meta-defining, highly usable units, and if you... The only exceptions being Belian and Conqueror Lilias. These first 6 units you definitely pick up if you don't have them. Belian and Conqueror Lilias are good, solid pickups. I would only not get Conqueror Lilias if you already have Sea Phantom Poly, because they kind of overlap in their niche and they take the same gear. And I would only not pick Belian if you... I would only pick Belian if you're okay with the fact that 90% of the people are not going to let you play with your new toy, right? They're going to say, oh, hell no, you are not getting that unit through. I'm not letting you draft that. But she's great in Arena, she's great in Guild Wars, she's an evergreen unit, she stops souls. Units down here under solid pickups, these are where you have to do some soul searching. You have to do some gut-wrenching soul searching and say, do I want these very solid, very usable units that are amazing tools to have in your toolbox? You will eventually hit a situation where you're like, I would have won this fight if I had Astromancer. I would have dominated this fight if I had Dragon King Sharun. I would have cleaved and reset this guy if I had Requiem Rowana. These are, you can tell this story with any of these units, but these are units that solve a problem. These are units that you slot into a draft after you've made your first several picks. None of these are first pick units. Most of them aren't first pick units. Most of them require a team to do their job right. And you've got to decide, am I okay with potentially not getting ML Ilanov? Am I okay with potentially not getting Harsetti? We don't know what their kits are like, but ML5s recently have been off the freaking hook crazy strong, and if you don't have them, it feels really, really bad, right? So you gotta decide if you're willing to roll the dice. Are you sitting on 15,000 Mystics? Get it. If you're like, I don't want to live in a world that doesn't have Lone Crescent Bellona, then get her. You do what makes you happy. You pick the unit that fleshes out your team, that you've wanted this entire time, that's going to make your game more fun, and you go for it. You never look back, and you don't let anybody tell you made a bad decision. Not even me. But if you are, you know, you're not a spender, you're relatively free to play, you're sitting at 9,000 Mystics, you're staring down the barrel of Harsetti and Ilanov, maybe you hold back. Maybe you don't pick up one of these and you bank for the future. Your call. Only you can make the decision on the solid pickups row. And this not fam skip row, that's my opinion. I don't think any of these units is worth potentially missing out on what's coming down the pipe. Also, I'm pretty sure that every single unit in this skip tier is going to be on the headhunt at the end of the year. And you can pick it up then if you really, really want it. Only pick from this tier if you are desperate for the unit. You've been in love with Dark Corvus for day one. You've been a hard proponent of the Dark Corvus summer skin where he's, you know, wearing a little banana hammock. And every day you wake up and you jump into Stove and you send Smilegate an email saying, when are you going to give me summer Dark Corvus? Well, then you pick Dark Corvus. If he's your man, you go for it. But if you are playing the game to max potential, you don't go for Dark Corvus. You don't go for anybody in this tier because monsters are coming. And you can always pick it up on the Headhunt event, right? So that's my 2 cents. And this is my tier list. I hope you guys like it. If you disagree with me on saying, I've had some people in chat saying, no, Requiem Rowana deserves to be up here because if she's run with Payra, if she is run with a unit who is top tier, if you have an opener, if you have a speed unit, if the person doesn't ban the unit that is required to make her work, then yeah, she crushes the meta. But these are all kind of stand on their own units, right? Not so much down here. Probably Ludwig's about the only not stand on his own unit. I guess you could argue that Ludwig is in a similar boat with Rowana, except Ludwig, when he gets his turn, effectively destroys the entire team. Requiem Rowana, you can recover from it. God damn it. Are we really doing this? Are we really having this argument? Nah, Ludwig is just too damn important. Both in and out of RTA. Here's the thing that Ludwig can do that Rowana can't. Ludwig can soul burn on 2 skills. Ludwig can penetrate evasion. Ludwig can give himself skill null. As long as you have souls, he can keep soul burning and destroy things. Rowana, she gets one thing. She soul burns to make it ignore ER, I think, right? Anyway, she gets 1 turn. She gets 1 shot. And she can be built with 6,000 health and still not do as much damage as a non-attack buffed S3 from Ludwig. It hits hard. Soul burn is just for her defense break on her S1. For a single target defense break. Yeah, you can't put these two in the same league, right? They're similar in that they both kind of lean heavily on somebody to get them initiated. But Ludwig, once he's initiated, the fight's over. You let somebody get their Ludwig into the front spot. You let somebody's Ludwig take a turn and they got some souls. It's over for you. Rowana, if you tank down heavily enough, you can outpace her. You can get by. So anyway, I think that's all I got, guys. This is my list. You've got 24 hours, roughly, to make your decision on everything below this line and Luna. Now, people have asked me, is the headhunt confirmed? No, of course not. Smilegate never confirms anything. I can't even get them to answer whether or not Old Hall of Trials is coming back, whether or not we have a chance to do your Dagger Cigars ever again. You think they're going to tell me about something that's happening in November, December? But what I can tell you is it has happened every single year for the past 3 or 4 years. 3 years. I don't think there's any way they don't do it again. And the headhunt, by the way, if they do it, when they do it, I mean, I would bet a freaking paycheck that it's coming, guys. I think it's safe money that it's going to happen. Luna's not going to be on that. Most everything else on here will be. I mean, probably Senya should be. It's going to be close for Senya, but she should be.
I lie. Oh. I pitied Ludwig, and I regretted it because I pulled him on the free summon the next day.
That's about the saddest damn thing I think I've ever heard, man. We will be getting these very, very soon. 10 ML summons. Don't be the guy that spends all of your Mystic bookmarks chasing ML Haste and then pulls them with these free summons. If you want to save these for Harsetti, if you want to save these for Ilanov, you do you. But I think if you're going to chase somebody on this tier list, if you're going to say, I'm going all in for Abyssal Yufine, exhaust those black bookmarks first. Just in case. Heck, if you're like, I can't decide between Yufine and Iseria, and then you pull one of them, boom. Me, personally, I'm sitting on those because that's how I get ML 4 stars. I think Sid is the only one I spent Mystics on, and I kind of regret it to this day. I really, really love my Sid, but I pulled 2 more Sids since his banner came out, so yeah. I think that's all I got to say about that. Do we know if the banner has pity and or can be swapped to selections? Okay, guys, let me get this out here right now. This is not a special banner. Okay? This is not a group summon like this where you're going to get Mirage coins, where you select the units you want to pull. It is not a custom group Mystic summon, right? It is just the Mystic rotation, and it works like any other rerun, right? Like before we had Luna, we had the rerun where it's like it could be this, and this unit, and this is the 4-star that's on there. It's like that. The only difference is you get to populate the units, right? But it's the same summon. Summons you do there will lower your pity. If you get the ML5 there, it will reset your pity. You'll be able to switch to your ML 4-star pity if you want to chase a specific 4-star. Not going to do a tier list on the 4 stars. Figure that crap out on your own. But it is no different than any other Mystic Summon rotation. It's the same pity system. The pity you have currently on Luna will carry over next week. It's just the next Mystic banner. The only difference between this and any other rerun banner is you get to select the units that are part of the rerun banner. I hope that's as clear as mud, because a lot of people think, like, is this a special one? Do I use the, do summons not count towards pit? No. It is just a normal Mystic Summon lineup. It's just like the one that we had back before the Overlord collab. So yeah, if you're sitting one away from pity and you're like, cool, I'll just select haste and do some summons for haste and not mess with my pity, you're in for a big surprise. You do that one summon, it's going to wipe out your pity and give you Blood Moon haste, and you're going to be in the crapper for pulling the next ML5 that you were saving for. I will give you this pro tip, guys. Let's say you're one away from pity and you're desperate for Harsetti. You don't want to do anything to mess up your summons for Harsetti, but you've got, like, I don't know, 10,000 mystics up here, and you're like, I'm one away from pity, but I still want to go for haste. What do I do? Well, you come up here and you select, we get into this, right? And you select haste as a 5-star, and then you go over here and you select the 4-star as the pity you're working on. And now you do summons. Switching these back and forth does not change the rates. Here, check it. ML5, let's look at the rates. Chance to get Luna, 0.625%. We change it to Silk, chance to get Luna, 0.625%. It's the exact same chance to get the 5-star unit. All we're doing is turning off the impact on pity. So if you switch it to the 4-star and you start summoning right now, well, not right now, but once the banner goes live and it sparks and out pops Blood Moon Haste, you get Blood Moon Haste and you will still have whatever your 5-star pity is, because it's only going to lower your 4-star pity count. And then now you've got your Blood Moon Haste, you switch it back to your 5-star, you're still staring at your one summon until Moonlight Hero, and you can roll into the next ML5 and get it. You picking up what I'm laying down? This is a way to cheat the system, and if you're one away from pity and you want to preserve that for whatever monsters are coming down the road, you can switch to the 4-star and you can still summon on your Mystic banner. It'll still spark at the same % chance. It'll still give you your 5 stars. There won't be any pity. I mean, eventually you'll get to your 4-star pity, so make sure you pick a 4-star you actively want, because you might go down to 4-star pity. But even if you go to 4-star pity and get the 4-star unit and keep summoning beyond that, your 5-star pity will stay the same. Here's proof. I'm going to do this for you guys just for proof, right? 200 summons away. I switch to the 4-star unit, right? I do a single summon. Please be Luna, please be Luna, please be Luna. That's okay. I get Ainz, and you notice I went from 101 to 4-star pity down to 100. It impacted my 4-star pity, but my 5-star pity is still at 200. It didn't have any impact on it whatsoever. So that's a way you can protect your pity, guys. And I'm surprised how many people don't know this. So if you're one away from pity, it doesn't mean you can't try. Just turn off the pity by switching to the 4-star pity system. And heck, you might even pull enough to get the 4-star pity system. You might even pull enough over here to get it down to 1, and then you can just sit. Now, not only do you get the next 5-star because you're one away on your 5-star, but you can go ahead and pick up Wretched Rose when she comes out, because you'll be one summon away from your 4-star pity. So there you go. I wish you guys luck. If you have any questions about the summon, if you want to argue and contest and plead your case for your favorite units and why they should be moved up, go for it. Make your own tier list. Tell your friends. I'm not changing anything on this. This is where I stand with it. They're not really in any particular order. I didn't organize them that much, except, Blood Moon Haste is definitely in the front. But yeah, I think anybody in this top row is worth picking up. Down here, you got to think about it. Down here, nah, fam. You wait for Harsetti. You wait for Ilanov.